A very good morning to all of you. On behalf of Maharaja Surajmal Institute, I, Dr. Vijeta Banwari, welcome you all to the fifth webinar in this MSI webinar series. Well, the fact that we all are here despite COVID-19 pandemic highlights the fact that nothing, yes, nothing can dampen our spirit of learning. And it is more even true for our teachers because a lamp cannot light another lamp until it keeps its own flame alive. With that spirit and that motivation, we at MSI have organized this webinar. We will have two sessions in this webinar. First, by Professor Karori Singh, Professor, University of Rajasthan, on the topic Dismantling the Agrarian Economy and Perpetuating the Crisis from 11:05 a.m. to 11:40 a.m. Our second session will be taken up by Dr. Monica Tushir on the topic Positioning the Young Minds for Efficiency During Turbulent Times from 11:40 a.m. to 12:15 p.m. Well, we all know that economic transformation of a developing country like India crucially depends upon the performance of agriculture and its allied sector. This sector plays a very, very significant role, especially in terms of rural livelihood, employment, and most importantly, national food security. Yes, that's a very important aspect. Just a second. Hello. हाँ जी सर मैं ऑनलाइन Yes. So agriculture sector plays a very, very important role in enabling national food security. However, the average annual growth rate of agriculture and its allied sector has been stagnant, has been static since last 6 years. Yes, there's no very, very little growth. According to Economic Survey 2019-20, the annual growth rate in real terms in agriculture and its allied activities was 2.88% from 2014-15 to 2019 18-19. In fact, for 2019-20, it is expected to grow only at a rate of 2.9%. The agrarian crisis that we are experiencing today is unprecedented and all encompassing. All the sectors, all the stakeholders in the sector are very highly affected by it. The one of the crucial aspect of this crisis is that agriculture is becoming unremunerative and is increasingly becoming unviable for so many farmers, which is a point of big worry. In our second session, Dr. Monica Tushir will take up another relevant issue during pandemic, handling youngsters. Vulnerable young people will need support not only during COVID-19 but even after that. Economic insecurity and educational fallout will have an impact on so many people for so many years to come. Thus, she will discuss how we can handle and how we can support our youngsters during this time. Again, a very important issue. Before our speakers can join in, let me give you a brief profile of our speakers. Our first session will be taken up by Professor Karori Singh, Professor, University of Rajasthan. His initial research was on agricultural land reforms in Sri Lanka, which was later on expanded to comparative perspective of agricultural land reforms in South Asia during his postdoctoral fellowship at Hawaii. Thereafter, he continued to focus his research on grassroots issues and development policy. He remained engaged in writing on various developmental, conflict, and cooperation related grassroots level issues in South Asian countries. He has completed state of art review of literature on poverty and human rights under the Poverty Eradication Program of the UNESCO. During his research, learning, and experience, he has developed a strong conviction that we have inadequate understanding of the village community and thus inappropriate policies and strategies. He is therefore strong advocate of broad-based agrarian studies by incorporating them in the course content of social sciences curriculum. He has participated in Wilton Park conferences of British Commonwealth Office. He had been director of South Asia Studies Centre, the oldest centre of research on South Asia. Besides this, he remained active in university administration, including member of syndicate in shaping academic and research orientation of social science and area studies research. He is member of various professional bodies and research organizations, member of editorial board of national and international research journals. He had been chief editor of the research journal South Asia Studies. He has a vast international exposure which expanded his horizon of social research and methodological knowledge and understanding. He has visited various countries like USA, UK, France, Spain, Portugal, Japan, Singapore, etc., in connection with academic assignment and participation in research activities. Moreover, he is a good friend of MSI and always had an abiding interest in the research and educational mandate of MSI. Our second speaker, Dr. Monica Tashir, Associate Professor, Maharaja Surajmal Institute, is known to be a keen researcher who has dedicated more than a decade to research and teaching in the field of commerce, finance, management at graduation and post graduation level in various universities like GTS IPU, Amity, and NTU Rohtak. She has presented a dozen of research papers in international and national conferences held in various universities all over India. She also has to her credit dozens of research papers published in refereed journals, various books published in the areas of taxation law, accountancy, and other areas. She holds degrees of MCom, MPhil, PhD, APGDCA, UGC NET in Commerce and Management. Now I would like to invite our first speaker, Professor Karori Singh, and enlighten us with his expertise in the area of agrarian sector. Dear audience, our speaker will be live shortly. Please wait. Thank you and warm regards.